Interior, command center, no windows. The Rangers stand at attention in front of Zordon Wall. They look intense, ready for the fight at hand.
Rangers, it is more important now, more than ever, that you be ready, at attention, and willing to sacrifice yourselves for the life that makes this world a beautiful place.
Jason steps forward.
Don't worry, Zordon. We've got what it takes. Isn't that right, y'all?
Jason pumps his fist into the air, Breakfast Club style, because that's sort of what this movie is. The Rangers all yell like Marines about to bring democracy to a nation, whether they want it or not. Kimberly steps up.
Rita and her gold boy better hit the bank now because they'll be fool's gold when we're through with them.
We see Zach and Billy shadowboxing. Well, Zach is shadowboxing. Billy is just trying to mimic what Zach is doing. We've all done it.
I mean, yeah, for sure.
Rita may be repulsive, but it'll be a beautiful day once we've muddied up her putty plans. That's right. The best laid plans are that of puns.
She's fucking done for.
We pan to see Trini, currently housing a box of Krispy Kremes.
Trini, would you be so kind as to take a break from eating while we're planning our battle strategy?
Easy for you to say when you don't have a box of Krispy Kremes fresh from the belt.
Alpha 5 butts in, wearing a maid outfit with a little feather duster. Ay, 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 you're getting crumbs all over the place. Trini's face goes from blissful content to panic.
Not my creams! I gotta get every last bite!
Trini drops to the ground, chomping up every bit of donut she can find, battling off attempts to brush her away by Alpha and his feather duster.
Trini, seriously, how can you eat at a time like this in a place like the command center?
Trini jolts to attention.
Oh, I can tell ya, I gotta eat at this time and this place because we're here, live from Twitch. It's KaiJULY Con 2024 on Mostly Speakin Sentai.
Yes, guys, like we said, it's KaiJULY Con yet again. Oh, what a glorious event it is. Next year, we're doing 4 days, 4 episodes each day, so we can get an entire year's worth of podcasting done in 1 week. Oh, yeah, that's the next thing I need to do. I need to just do a 12-hour live stream where look at that dog over there in the corner.
We got Crunch.
This is
Crunchwrap Supreme.
Crunchwrap. Hey, guys, if you're listening to this on a podcast feed, go watch it, fuckers. But, guys, that's what I need to do next. I need to do a 12-hour live stream where I just do, I guess, like 9 episodes. You know, they'll go a little bit long. And then I'm done for a couple months. That's what I'm doing. It's brilliant. It's exhausting, I'll tell you what. It's crazy that I used to do this. I used to do like 5 podcasts a week. How did I do it? And I was so bad at editing. I guess I should say time efficient, but there's not enough time to discuss me. We got to introduce my guest, my co-host, my favorite person in the world. It's Nickel the Brick Jakis.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
What's that mean, huh? I don't know.
Not bad.
Oh, hell yeah. It's KaiJULY Con.
Yeah.
Do you feel a connection with the big giant monsters when we do this?
Sure.
Rank our events. Pissmas, KaiJULY Con. I think and then WMSS the Goose or something. Are those the only events we do? Or I guess we can throw in Pride in July. That's a new one. No. And then March for Lil Corey and I, so you don't have to do Patreon 1 month.
I have to rank all of those now?
Yeah, rank them, okay?
Ooh.
I guess we also do Halloween episodes. Throw those in there.
Pass.
All right.
The list is too long.
Okay, then Pissmas and KaiJULY Con, rank them.
Pass. Too long.
All right. Rank this me.
What?
Oh.
Yeah, rank this me.
Am I?
Now you've confused me. Okay. Nicole, we don't have
Excellent.
time.
The avatars for your Wii console?
Oh, me. Yeah, rank
Yeah.
me's.
Yeah.
That'd be a fun thing to do. Get your Wii out and then rank your me's that you made
my
and be
gosh,
like, who was this? Was this my brother?
Yeah.
Get the dust off, like an ancient tome.
You act like I can't see our Wii right now.
It's pretty dusty, though.
I don't think it's that. Oh, we did have an extreme dust and dander weekend. That's at least what the apps told me.
Oh, fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, Austin's got a
Never
giant
lie.
wave of Sahara sand coming towards it, so
Uh-oh.
I'm not going to be able to breathe next week.
Oh, no.
Fingers crossed you have a respirator, you know?
I'm just going to bury myself underground and just hope for the best. Get a one of those dune suits on.
Okay. I was going to say, if you bury yourself underground, guess what? There's a lot of dust and dirt.
Yeah, but that's why I'm going to enter a catatonic state and just
Okay.
wait for the sand to go away. That's all up here. I'm going to David Blaine it. I'm going to isolate my blood vessels or something. I don't know. I don't know how he does it, but he does something.
Oh, but he does it for sure. And who will be doing it next week when Austin's getting real weird? It's Rob from, at least for the next couple weeks, I think, the Tokyo Lives podcast.
Woo! Hello, everyone.
How are you?
I'm good. Busy. Wedding planning is hard. I thought it would be very easy, and then people kept asking me to do bigger and bigger things, and I was like, I found a venue. Isn't that enough? And no, it's not, it turns out. So, yikesy yoksy.
You find a venue and then you just do potluck. That's it.
That was my plan. And they were like, no, that's not enough, mister.
Okay. Then you need to just shove their heads in a toilet and let it flush.
It's the matriarchs and patriarchs of both sides have deemed that I need to do more than just like a chill backyard party. So.
So they're not telling you to do like, oh, your future wife is doing so much. No, they're saying you need to do more. No, flush their toilets, okay?
Give them a swirly.
Yeah. Hopefully they have long hair.
Oh, so
it gets stuck in the pipes. And then they have to say, I guess cut it off.
Oh, that's another thing. They want me to cut off my mullet. I can't, man. It means too much to me at this point.
Yeah, you can.
So.
I mean, I don't know. Steve Barnes said he regretted not cutting his beard.
Oh, okay. Wait, just his beard?
Yeah, because like his family were like, you got to cut your beard. And he was like, no way, man. And now when we talked to him recently, when he was here.
Oh, yeah?
He was like, I regret it.
Okay, here's
Dang.
what you do. You get a hat that has bangs
tuck
on
it up in.
Oh, you could do that, or just get a hat with bangs, and then it looks like I have long hair in the front and
it's
back.
just one long piece of hair. It's not a mullet. It's one long.
yeah.
That's thinking. That's problem solving. But hey, my name's Rob. I do podcast stuff occasionally. Will be stepping down as a full-time host of Tokyo Lives starting in August, right before I get married. I just want to do more in-person stuff around town. So I'm like going to start running a very wild D&D game at a local coffee shop. I'm talking to a friend about doing a very stupid stage play where I will be sock puppeting a little goblin thing that I'm working on and doing therapy for dungeon delvers. So like fantasy characters coming into this like dungeon and meeting a therapist goblin.
And that is your profession, is goblin, correct?
Yeah, well, I'm a goblin who pretends to be a therapist. Is really my personal branding, yeah.
And that's what you
That's what
get
I've always
paid
said
for.
about myself.
So can I Chicago Comics your podcast? Meaning when Nicole quit working at Chicago Comics, I scooped in and got her job.
Oh, I mean, listen, you can definitely reach out to Kyle about like guest stuff.
No.
He's...
No.
Oh, you mean
I want to be a host.
take over?
No, I want to be a co-host. I don't want to take it. Did you edit the shows?
Yes.
Okay, never mind. No.
I'm like the main editor, the main like social media person. I used to do all the video editing, which is kind of why I'm stepping down, I think, because I was like, I did too much. I kind of kept, after 2020, I kept like escalating the bar of what I would do and how much I would take on. And then eventually that became just kind of like the norm. And then I was like, oh, wait, I want to do other things. And I can't because it was a part-time job on top of my real-time job, which is also collapsing underneath me as like the entire tech industry turns into jelly because of AI.
Oh, man, but you gotta love AI.
Oh, I love it so much. It's great. Imagine plagiarism done at such a fast speed. That's like the technological innovation we've been waiting for. We were promised flying cars, and instead we just got art thieves, but way faster and worse.
I feel so bad for Weird Al because whenever people talk about Weird Al, people are like, man, fuck AI. And they're like, no, like, I didn't do A dot capital I dot. I just did capital AL, which looks
rough.
like AI.
Mm-hmm. Typically, I don't say weird AI. I cut straight to the, But my friend named Al has a real rough time of it.
Okay, yeah. It's like, hey, Al. And he's like, fuck AI. And he's like, no, I'm not. I'm real.
It's tough. Well, they are also a computer program, which is unrelated. They're like cool though, but I mean, it's not like an AI.
I got a little.
I mean, it's kind of an AI, but like it's like an old war machine that was actually used to like control nuclear missiles, and then for some reason somehow got in charge of like the HR department at my company. So
hell yeah.
But yeah, that's just life. It's crazy out there.
If you're able to organize nuclear warheads, I think you can organize a few people just,
Yeah, exactly.
accidentally saying the C word, thinking it's funny at work.
Oof. It's tough. It's tough out there.
Nicole, are you excited to talk about Power Rangers 2017?
Ecstatic.
Ooh, Rob, this is the crescendo.
Yeah. This is it. Unless they make another Power Rangers movie or you guys start dipping into, I don't know, do they make, like, I guess you could do the summer movies. Maybe you could come, like, call me back to, like, cover all the, like, Power Rangers summer movies from Japan and stuff. But this is the last American-made, like, Power Rangers movie.
Feature length. Maybe we'll get you on for, like, Super Sentai versus
Yeah.
They had those three where was it Super Sentai versus Kamen Rider? I forget which ones it is. I watched all three of them, and they're just diminishing returns.
Well, that's the nature of the beast with crossovers, I think. But yeah. This was the last big attempt. Saban was like, we're going to make a mainstream movie. Marvel's hitting it off. Was really big just a few years ago. So like, you know what? It's our turn. We're going to jump in there. And they tried. They really tried. More than I'm used to Saban trying, honestly.
Yeah. Out of everyone involved in this, I feel the most, everyone else did a great job. But I feel like Elizabeth Banks, what she was given, she must have been sold like, this is your Marvel. Like, you're going to make so much money.
No.
Like, it's Rita, brothers.
Here's the thing. I think, okay, so her role in the movie is almost exclusively camp and advertisement.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So I think they didn't sell this as this is going to be your big break to be in Marvel. They said, this is your chance to not give two shits about this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Just mess her. It doesn't matter. Do you not remember the script? It doesn't matter. Do you not have to do any? The only thing you got to do is like 18 hours of makeup for like 5 or 6 days. And then she was like, okay, sure. I think that's how they got her in because ultimately, even though she doesn't have much to work with, I think she's giving the most in her performance. Not necessarily a good performance, but a camp performance, which means it's aces in my book.
I bet she looks at Ben Affleck in all these Dunkin' commercials and is like, oh, so he can do it. Okay, all right.
Oh, no one laughs at him. Well, that's the thing. Is like he kept going, right? He got memed into Duncan.
Yeah.
And then they embraced him. Whereas she was not a crispy girl before this movie, right? Afterwards, obviously, they used her iconography in some advertisements for a short period of time. They had like little Power Rangers, like donuts with like the little images on it. She's not like there's like, paparazzi photos of her like holding a Dunkin' Donut being like, or a Krispy Kreme being like,
excuse me.
Sorry, blasphemy. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Yeah.
I caught myself there. That's like a Star Trek Star Wars crossover. That's bad, you know?
Yeah, I'll DDT a Dunkin' Donut, but I'll shove a Krispy Kreme in my mouth.
Oh, also, this is the beginning of the cultural return of wrestling. And we can pinpoint it to this movie specifically in like the 2016, 2017 era, because we have essentially like a circus happening in our governmental body. And thus, the false reality of wrestling starts to become like, it is the art of the proletariat, right? Mm-hmm. But it suddenly becomes like the cultural art. And we're seeing it become like socially relevant across the board in the addition of multiple suplexes in this movie. So much so that it is the ultimate move you have to learn. Mm-hmm. So
I'd like to pinpoint it as Hulk Hogan v. Gawker.
Ooh, yeah, that's true. When did that start? I can't even remember when that started.
I can't either. I was just making a joke.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Because like I feel like that was during like the true like death times of wrestling, because it was like post-Attitude Era in that like 2000s slop era where we don't really have like a cultural like movement of wrestling.
Hold on, we had Ruthless Aggression, and then we had PG era, which we're I think still in.
True. Well, yeah, we've now we're escalating into the new era now. Whatever it is, the AEW era has like. I'm sorry, I'm getting so off track. Do you want to talk about the plot of this real fast?
Let's talk about Power Rangers.
Power Rangers. We start off in the past, the far distant past, where we find out that Zordon's responsible for murking all the dinosaurs because he's like, Alpha, send the comets. That's how the movie starts. The kickoff is Bryan Cranston killing all life on Earth.
I didn't
to
get
save
that.
all life on Earth.
But there's still trees.
There's trees and like I guess
crocodiles.
There's some like mammals that show back up and like eventually humans come around. Yeah, sure. It's not like he planned that though. Like he did just murk all dinosaurs, right?
Oh, wait, real quick. Do you think humans would have come about sooner if he hadn't become a comet?
No, but reptilians would have come around.
Okay,
sooner
hell yeah.
And stayed around longer. But then, we killed them all off probably, I assume. I don't know.
Wouldn't it have been great if we were reptilians?
We could have, if we had like long little reptilian tails and big old flicky tongues and that's how we had to smell things. What could have been?
I heard someone say that it's crazy that even if you've never licked something, if you think like, hey guys, like lick this pen right now, think of what this texture would be like on your tongue. Your tongue can.
Guess what it would feel like?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you're physically touching something, your brain's pretty good at like kind of
not even touching it. Like I've never really touched this camera lens, but I feel like I already can sense what it would feel like licking it.
Wow. I guess the tongue and the brain, very close bond, Wow.
Like my glasses. Think of licking my Have you ever licked your glasses?
No, I've breathed on them to clean them off, but I have not licked my glasses. That's a good point, though.
Close your eyes and think like,
and imagine
okay,
it, see it.
I can feel the texture of the tongue.
Do you think that's how they access the morphing grid in this movie? They say like you have to imagine collaborating with each other, but in the movie, what they imagined is licking the other person, and that's how they were able to morph.
We've never even seen or been near the Zordon wall, but you can envision what it would be like licking it.
Okay, but we've all experienced the Zordon wall. We have.
In the sense of putting your face on those needles?
Little needle pin thing? That's right, absolutely. We have all experienced the Zordon wall because we're all millennials, and all of us had a parent, an uncle, a friend, somehow. Someone had one of those little pin things that you could like press your face into. Even though you weren't supposed to because germs, and you always did. And there were several times where you stick out your tongue and put your face in there so your tongue gets an imprint.
Okay.
So everyone knows what that wall tastes like and feels like.
All right.
So I got the theories.
My biggest issue with this movie is I wish this were more like Zyuranger or Five Man, or I think even things like RPM to talk about Power Rangers that just make the Power Rangers already be and already know how, like, skip all the training scenes. The worst scene in this is when they're running and jumping over things. That's just so bad. Everything else is fantastic. I think this movie, just don't make it Power Rangers. Just have it be the Breakfast Club, but with like teens in this area of the world. There's nothing bad going on outside. It's all about bad going on inside.
Wait, so you want to take out all the powers?
Yeah.
And just have these kids as Breakfast Club 2?
Or maybe keep Alpha and Zordon in. That's just their hangout space. That's how they all come together.
So your pitch is it's Power Rangers, but no power. So they're not even, but they're also not space police. So it's just teenagers with attitude.
Yes.
That's the title.
And maybe not so much attitude.
I mean, they got a little bit of spice. They all got a little bit of spice on them.
You want to know what? They're teenagers. They have attitude.
I mean, you can't not be a teen and not have spice. Anyway, so you then have them still stumble across Zordon and Alpha, and then Zordon and Alpha are kind of like mentors. They're like your older weed dealer friend in high school who would occasionally pontificate about life while you gave them $15. Is that like what you're kind of aiming for here?
A little less weed dealer and more like when you go to Stats or Dare, the students talking about tough stuff, and they're kind of the adult mentor. Or you're at a youth group and it's your youth pastor. That's what they are.
Oh, okay.
Nicole, your thoughts? What would you want them as?
I see the cat.
Henry just went over towards the wall and then just darted away so fast.
That's what he does.
Oh, fuck.
I got Crunches down here.
Crunch. It's of course, a dog with the name Crunchwrap Supreme is going to be an edgelord.
Listen, it was an internet poll. I added Rock Bronco on there because I thought that would be a very good name. Because I thought,
How is that dog being an edgelord?
Because look at him. What?
How is he not?
Don't you see?
He's just laying there. I thought you were going to say, of course, a dog with the name Crunchwrap Supreme is more calm than a cat named Henry.
No.
Okay, Power Rangers. This movie, I don't know why you guys, and I don't know why just in general people shit on this movie because I enjoyed it.
It's very good.
No, I liked it. I have problems with it, but I still like the overall movie, and I'm kind of bummed there wasn't a part 2.
Absolutely. Because we got teased there'd be a Tommy Green Ranger. Mm-hmm. We would have seen Trini kiss a lady, probably. Mm-hmm. Unless Saban got his way. He says,
I mean, he would not. You can only imply as far as Saban wouldn't understand.
Right. Yeah.
He probably saw the screening and was like, girlfriend problem. Haha, that's a joke because gay people don't exist and aren't real. And he stared angrily at the director, and the director was like,
he's like, yeah.
It would be crazy.
It's not like many of the people on set aren't. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Sorry, Nicole, I cut you off. What would you desire from this movie, if any changes at all?
I don't know.
I think that was the topic we were on.
I also just don't have I don't know, not high expectations, but I don't know. It's it's a movie for kids and teens. I don't have it's not a high bar. So I'm just I'm impressed because I expected it to be way worse than what it was.
Which it's a good thing that children shouldn't have a high bar, because if you go to a bar, those are high, and you don't want a kid setting up to that because they're short, Because you can't have a kid in a trench coat at a bar, because that's illegal.
Well, you would have to have several kids in a trench coat, and then you wouldn't be able to tell.
Or one Mojo Jojo in a trench coat because he can fly in Powerpuff Girls Z.
I have not seen Powerpuff Girls Z. The only Mojo Jojo I know is a tiny little monkey guy with a big old brain, and he wouldn't be able to pull it off unless he had fake extendo legs.
Do you think Mojo could get serviced at a bar?
Sure.
And does he have access to his super technology, or has he just lost a fight with the Powerpuff Girls? Why is he drinking? Because is he in this scenario? Is he drinking because he's just man, what a day? Tried to rob a bank, and I got my skull cracked, my plastic skull dome cracked open again. Now there's germs, bacteria flooding my brain. Or is he listen, girls' night, I'm calling him, I'm calling Fuzzy Lumpkins, No more Powerpuff Girls night. It's just the theys, all right? Let's just go. And they just get out there on the town. So which is the scenario here?
That or it's celebratory because he goes, he's like, hey guys, Power Rangers thought they were hot shit. Their movie didn't do as good as our movie. So they're like, yeah, let's go drink. Craig McCracken's there. Lauren Frost is hanging out in the back.
Okay. So they're in a world where so they're in like a metaverse scenario where they're able to view that like the Power Rangers movie happened.
Yeah.
And didn't make as much. Okay. Yes. In that case, yeah, easy. Because he's probably an adult. He could probably get like a drink if the other characters in the world are like weird, like if we're talking straight up, oh gosh, what was that Disney movie with
Chippendale?
The brick guy, the brick breaker guy, and
Wreck-It Ralph.
Wreck-It Ralph, yeah. If Wreck-It Ralph rules, then for sure he can get a drink. But if it's set in the canon of Powerpuff Girls, the show,
I don't think he can.
Huh?
I don't think he can and is set in the canon because I think that would be the bit. He's like, I'm obviously the smartest person here. Like I'm a full-grown monkey adult. I should be able to get a drink. And they're like, but you don't have an ID. And he's like, yeah, but then I'd have to be on the census and then I'd have to do jury duty and have to vote and all of that. And they're like, okay, so get an ID. And then he has to do the bureaucratic stuff of getting an ID only to realize he could have just stole the beer.
Wow. Oh, and I also did just get my first jury duty summons. So,
whoa.
On top of everything,
Did you tell him, I don't have time for this? I'm trying to make a bigger wedding.
No. I said, yes, I'm available. And then I said, I have strong political beliefs. So I'm probably going to get kicked out, which will be great.
Unless they want someone with strong political beliefs.
They may. Listen,
Maybe it's a Jan 6th type thing.
Ooh. Oh, wow. Yeah, maybe.
They want you on their side. A January 6th, Nicole, you don't know what that is? Capitol riot?
I know what it is.
Okay. Maybe there's someone from Texas who, rioted on the Texas Capitol.
There's tons of small business owners here in Texas. I'm pretty sure half of them were at January 6th. If I'm being honest, yeah. One of the reasons I got to get the heck out of here.
But Austin's weird.
Austin's filled with rich tech bros that want to live in a blue city but a red state. And so they've just sunk the culture. Anything that used to be a fun DIY spot to hang out and create art is now an axe bar, just like an axe, a hatchet throwing bar, or just a microbrewery again, another one.
Again.
That's just that's all that we have left. It is just a drinking culture. And since I'm trying to remove myself from drink culture, like one of the characters from this movie, because they're teenagers and they shouldn't be drinking, even though they do in one scene.
They sure do. It was root beer, guys.
It was root beer. Okay, that's fair.
Even if they were drinking, they're superheroes. Their metabolism immediately runs that alcohol out of them.
Yeah. Perhaps. Did you see in the beginning how the power coins cure Jason of his knee problem? It cures Kimberly of her social media addiction, and it cures Billy of his social awkwardness.
Oh, yeah, it does all of that.
Yeah. Those power coins. We don't see what it does for Trini or Zach. They don't matter.
Well, no, it cures Zach of worrying about his mom.
No, he's still worried about his mom.
He put a pillow to her face, remember?
Oh.
He did. I'm not making up lies. That's just in a deleted scene.
Oh, I see. That was in the extra credits. At the end of the movie, he's playing chess with her, and then he goes, ha ha ha.
Yeah, that's not because she's a task on his everyday life. It's because you beat me again, huh? Well, how about you beat this pillow?
Not today, Grandma.
I'm going to dunk this in water first.
Oh, my gosh.
That's how to be effective at suffocation.
I guess that's fair. That's more, I suppose. I hadn't really put any thought into how to smother a living person before. But I'm glad that's on your mind, That's a good thing to just, consider.
So this movie starts out with hey, we're going to jack off a cow joke.
Yes. And not just hey, we're gonna. Hey, I did.
And not just any cow, okay? This is the rival team's cow.
Yeah, Beefcake, who they somehow drove and then forced into the stadium or into the locker room of the rival team, I think. Even though, like, I guess maybe there's just multiple high schools in Angel Grove, even though Angel Grove seems like such a tiny town.
Oh, yeah.
And then Jason, in a very well shot scene, starts to like run away. He gets in his car and like the camera's doing this cool pan around thing, which I thought was excellent.
Very good.
It was super well choreographed and really well shot to make it look like a one shot deal. Brilliant. Excellently edited. And then he crashes and then the car flips and it gets like kind of cheap CGI for a little bit. That's fine because like the buildup was great. And then we get introduced to the rest of the crew because gosh darn it, because he was a bad boy, Jason's got to spend time at the little Saturday morning breakfast club to do homework at school.
I loved Saturday school. I just thought it was cool.
I don't know. I only ever had to do it during like summers because I transferred from one high school to another. And then that first high school refused to ever validate any of my credits. So I went from being like, they got mad. It was weird. Essentially, I went from like a private school to a public school. And then when I went to that public school, they were like, hey, yeah, we're not technically accredited, actually. So that first year, you're actually like in my junior year, I found out I was still technically like a sophomore.
Oh, my gosh.
So I had to like my junior year and my senior year, I had to do a bunch of summer courses just so I could graduate. Ooh, it was no good. It was a real bummer, let me tell you.
That sounds like a shit show.
Oh, it was a nightmare. Dude, it was genuinely, that's when I became like a true C average student. Like I just stopped caring.
Yeah.
Very morally devaluing to feel like, oh, so like that really, really crummy year at that Nazi school was like, dude, they made us every class. We all had to stand up and announce our names, like in repetition to the teacher. Teacher would shout your name. You had to say your name back, and then you were allowed to sit down. So you had to stand at attention. And because my name's new, I was always towards the back end of the list, which sucked. It meant I had to stand one of the longest, you know? Ooh, it was a weird school. Not kosher. They kicked a kid out for having Advil in his locker. They were like, drugs are not allowed here.
The fuck?
They could have just sent him to a Saturday school, and then he could have made best friends with someone and protect him from being bullied, just like in this movie.
And then became Power Rangers.
Oh, and become a Power Ranger. But no, instead they just dragged us all out of our classrooms, made us circle around his locker, and then demanded that he opened it. And like he had no idea what was happening, so he opened it, and then like the principal takes out and starts shaking, and it's clearly labeled, like it says Advil.
Yeah.
He's shaking at us. He's like, "This is unacceptable in this school. We do not allow drugs here." It was weird, man.
He's like, I had a headache.
Yeah, no, that was literally, and then it's like they called like the mom. They made, and like they had us all surround the mom. Dude, it was psycho behavior, and like they made her defend herself, and she was like, "My son said he had a headache. I had Advil in the car." And they're like, "This is disgusting, degenerate behavior. You should not be giving." She's like, "It's Advil. It's not a drug. It's like a, do you guys know what Advil is?" I remember that like really just burning its way into my brain. And like, I've had these like key moments in my life that have made me decide I need to alter trajectory. And it's never been like, oh man, I drank so much last night. It's always been like, oh, I'm surrounded by crazy people. This shouldn't be my scene.
That kid should have been like, hey, you're going to need some Advil in a second. Then he just like hockey punches the principal. I'm already kicked out.
Yeah,
shoves
he could
the shirt
really
over his
should've.
head and just starts gut punching him.
I want the mom to do that.
Yeah, she like he's like, oh, your son's crazy. You hockey punched me, and she says, you want to know where he learned that from? And just starts hockey punches him too.
Dude, that would have been a much better conclusion to that story. Instead, they got kicked out, and then like a legal battle followed of that, like the school trying to refuse giving like a refund for tuition for the year.
You were paying for this?
Yeah, it was a private school, man.
Oh man, private
My granddad
schools.
really wanted me to go because my granddad was a righteous Protestant man, and so he wanted me to go to a good little schoolboy school.
Real quick,
high school.
That entire year you couldn't get credits for that, correct?
None of that counted.
Oh, so for like your grandfather's birthday, did you walk up to him and start hockey punching him?
No, he passed away that same year, which is why I got to go to a public school immediately. As soon as he was out, like I was like, I'm not disappointing Granddad anymore.
You're just peeing on his grave now.
No,
he's
in an urn. First off.
Oh, okay. You're pissing in the urn even easier. You don't need to go outside.
I wouldn't do that. He was a cool dude. He just had some he taught me a lot of very important values. Like my environmentalism comes from him. A lot of like kindness first approach to living. Like, and he passed that to my mom first, obviously. He was a good man. He just also was like, Rob should go to it was like he believed it was like the right course in life.
Okay.
And it just so happened that it was like bad. But like my mom and me just didn't want to make him feel bad because he was already sick. And we didn't want to like say like, oh man, that school sucks.
Okay. So he was probably up late watching Gilmore Girls. And he's like, that's what Rory's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That same exact thing happens, but Rory ends up gut punching her grandfather.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah.
We got to get back on track real quick. So if you're going to do a prank on the school's rival, their mascot, dress the cow up in like your colors. So then it's like, oh man, they're in a jersey, or I don't know, jack it off.
A clown wig would have been good. Put a clown wig on it. Or, you know what? Listen, you already did the deed. You've got to put it somewhere, Did he just spill his seed? That's a sin in the eyes of Christ. He should have collected it. Probably in a sock or something. And then, or one very large sock.
Yeah.
And then put that in one of the lockers. You could have just really, oh!
I would have, it's in a sock and then you put it.
Sorry. I tried to... That felt like a mostly speaking Sentai joke,
Oh, no, I'm furthering it. It goes in a sock, and then you put the sock on as a glove, and then you start gut punching your rivals.
I see a bludgeoning device. Interesting.
Yeah. Or you put a roll of quarters in that sock, too, and then it's whipping around just
oh my gosh,
splashing everything.
Oh, no. So, yeah, they try and prank the school. It goes poorly. Jason doesn't sell out his friends. Very cool dude, but he gets sent to Saturday school for that. Sees Kimberly, who apparently he has some kind of history with. They don't really go into it in a lot of detail, but they know each other. And then he sees Billy, who is on the spectrum and is organizing his pencils. And a stereotypical bully goes up and starts breaking his pencils. And it's like, that's what you get for being different than me. And then Jason just walks up and slaps him.
So
it's a very funny scene. And then is like, don't do that, man. And so, like, Billy immediately is like, hey, you're cool. You want to come with me to do some of the most illegal shit that has ever happened in this town? I stole, like, fertilizer from somewhere in large enough quantities to make a homemade bomb. And that's... like insane, but he goes to the quarry because his dad used to like to hang out at the quarry and dig stuff up. And for some reason, this is where the movie for me got a little weird. They seem to be psychically possessed to do this behavior because he's like, I need to set up explosives on this wall. Obviously, Jason tries to bounce out, sees Kimberly stripping in the woods, and is like, uh-oh, boobies, goes to hang out with her. They hear the explosion, hear Billy get hurt, so they run back, and then all 5 of the teens join together because they hear the explosion. And then looking into this glass wall, they see these like glowing things, and they're all like, they're rubbing their hands on the glass, and it's like full on this is my hole moment from that that one manga where like the people like start pressing their body into like the side of the mountain.
No, don't say like this manga where people press inside of a mountain. We don't know that.
You don't know? That's
no.
It's like
I thought you were going to say,
Uzumaki.
this is our hole. I was like, do you mean the book Holes?
No. Oh God, it's it's like a horror manga, and it's like super popular, but I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head.
Blood on the Tracks.
No, but there's like these holes, these like cutouts of like a human body, and like one just calls to you. And so like this one guy gets crazed and like starts walking into it, and then his twisted and mangled form comes out the other side of the mountain because it's like all depressed from like the earth's like pressure, and like turns him into this weird tentacle thing. Anyway.
So diamonds is to coal as people is to tentacle monsters.
Yeah. Now you're getting it.
Okay. I guess tentacle monsters is to people.
Yeah.
Well,
Nicole, I'm going to start sitting on you a bunch, and eventually you'll become a tentacle monster.
Oh, there you
I
go.
don't think that's the same.
No, yeah, it's enough pressure.
If you just hug her every day after work.
Ooh, but real hard.
No.
Real hard.
I'll start just with your feet because, like you got a bad spine.
You have a bad
yeah.
everything.
Not bad feet. Your feet are pretty good.
There you go. You could have those bad dragon toes if he hugs hard enough.
Yeah, I never hear you say, my dogs are aching.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they get like absurdly obsessed with this glass wall. Zach grabs a pickaxe and just starts wailing on it, breaking all of the crystals that at the beginning Zordon had let sink into the earth right before he nukes all life on the planet. And then they're like, oh, we've got these magical coins. Cool car chase. Immediately, they crash into a train, but then they teleport back home, and they now have magical powers. They're like Jason's legs fixed, which I talked about earlier.
But also
Kimberly
he's ripped
crushes
as
her phone.
shit.
He's Spider. They have their Spider-Man scene,
Oh, yeah.
like, oh, I got bit by a spider, and I'm sick, and they wake up the next morning. I don't need these glasses, and I'm buff. So now they all have baseline superpowers, which kind of works because, like in the shows, they like even outside of their suits, they're able to do crazy jumps and stuff. Unfortunately, the crazy jumps look crazy bad because instead of doing the tokusatsu effect where you have like a person run and jump, and then you take like a video from like underneath where they're jumping off of a trampoline going, whoa, and then you see them like landing. So you get the implication they jumped really far.
Or just classic wire work.
Yeah. In this, it's like, it's wire work, but it looks really bad because there's like...
Yeah, and the camera shakes to be like, whoa, they just jumped so hard it rattled the entire ground and everything around them.
All while Imagine Dragons just blast in the background.
It's like radioactive.
I don't think it's not radioactive. It's some other Imagine Dragons song though, but it's that. It's like... and then they're just leaping through the air. It's super bad. And then for no reason, again, this is where the like structure of the movie for me starts to kind of fall apart, is Billy jumps, but he doesn't quite make it, but he climbs up and he's like, oh, I did it. And I'm doing a little dance. Whoa. And then he falls down
I
to
love
his death,
this part.
But then he doesn't actually die. And he's like, don't worry, there's water down here. And then all the other kids are like, I guess we too are still psychically possessed by this glass wall, so we're gonna jump into the water also. And so they jump in and then they swim down because, again, they're being psychically called.
Well, they see something down there.
That's fair.
Yeah, he says, hey guys, come down here, you gotta see this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's fair. That still seems a little weird to me. It doesn't feel like he landed and said there's something down here. It's like, don't worry, there's water. And then they jump in. And then he dives down again and sees his reflection of himself.
Oh, so this is a lot better. Like if my friend said, hey, come here, you got to see this. And I saw like, wow, it's Zordon and Alpha. I would be elated. Usually it was just like their nuts hanging out of their pants.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah.
The brain, classic. The bat wing.
I sat in gum, whatever.
Classics.
Yeah.
But yeah, it turns out Alpha is still around. He's okay, so previously you've mentioned like this Alpha can get it. Do you think this Alpha can get it?
Not hot at all.
No. He's a little gremlin. This one, not hot.
He's a cutie.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want to, lick his ear.
That's fair. He's got a Milky Way head, and like he's got not the candy bar, the actual Milky Way, and he's got 2 globe eyes on the side. That's fun. And he's got stretchy arms, and he's just a little bit quirked up, a little quirked up, but not quite in like the same, kind of like,
He's quirked up, but not caked up.
Yeah, that's true. There you go.
Yeah,
I want
it's
my alpha with a fat ass.
It's that guy,
Bill Hader.
Bill Hader.
Yeah, he is. Yes.
I do have a quick couple notes before this part.
Sure.
This is classic MMPR moment was the two friends of Kimberly's coming out of the bathroom and saying like,
yeah, sorry, I skipped
we're
that.
cutting you out, literally. And they take out a picture of the three of them, then cut her. I wish she was in the middle. And then they like put out some tape and like taped up so it's just them two smashed together.
Yeah.
And I
That would be
prefer a like Northern California, or my guess is this was set in New England. I like a New England Angel Grove.
Yeah. I mean, so here's the thing. This movie does suffer from like a little bit of an identity crisis where it's trying to have these moments where it's filmically super 90s. There's the BMX scene with Billy when he's with Jason when he's going to Billy's house and the camera's like right on the handlebars going and even just like the quick cuts of like going through town and people reacting. It's very, very 90s filmically. Very, very 90s, some of the reactions from the characters, but they're just like little like drips of very 90s. And then there's these like super 2000s damp Twilight era filming where there's just like, I'm driving on a wet road and there's rain, you know? And so like it's trying to juggle these like very different like cinematic languages all throughout. But like where it really got kind of like is like this middle part where we're starting to do the like training. Once we actually get to the training, primo stuff, because it's just learning how to do a suplex, and that's good. But the putties suck. I do not like the putties.
Oh, yeah.
They reveal
blow.
the putties. And they're like, Rita makes putty rangers, and this is what they look like. And I was like, I totally forgot what they looked like. I was like, I didn't remember these guys being in the movie. So I'm watching, and I'm excited to see, like, how did they make putties look? Because I know the Rangers, I don't like the Ranger suit, but maybe the putties will be, no. The putties are nondescript, part ant, part golem things with like 5 or 6 different arms and weird nondescript like goblin heads and like 6 legs. And it's just like, I don't know. You could have just made him a guy. It's fine, you know?
I would have really liked them more like slimes, I think they're called, in Monster Rancher, where they're kind of just like like a human looking thing, but they're like just like slimy and everything, but just make that mud.
Yeah, make it putty.
Yeah, putty in my hands if they did that.
Yeah, I would agree that the putties are not, the design is not great.
Yeah.
It's just, this is going to be a refrain from me. It's over-designed.
Yeah.
So they start training because they accept that Zordon is their new dad. And
As you should.
He's like, go ahead and take them to the pit because they suck and they can't morph because they don't care about each other. And instead of like making them hash out their feelings and like, you know, Zordon is a bad guy in this movie.
Yeah,
and I
sucks.
do like that they don't really shy away from how bad he is.
It's also crazy. This would have been so easy to solve. Just have them all do light as a feather, stiff as a board.
There you go. Trust falls, the little the parachute thing where you throw it up and you sit on it. Little things like that, you know?
We
Little
did
team
like
building
it-
exercises.
We did light as a feather, stiff as a board, I think, with Nick on this show. And I believe he like shot through the roof.
He's never come back. It's really sad.
Yeah.
He's just right through the roof, and we haven't seen him since. Some say he's still up there.
That's why he's always doing remote recordings, because he's up in the space.
Yeah, he's bumping up against Rita every once in a while. That's spoilers for later in the movie, I guess.
Which, put Rita on the moon where she belongs. She's no seaside biddy.
Yeah, we also then get the reveal of Rita. She is a little frozen corpse mummy deep at the bottom of the ocean that happens to be trawled up by Jason's dad because he's a fisherman. And Jason's dad, by the way, has a story arc that just seems to happen outside of, like, they realize, like, oh, shit, we're doing the same thing with Trini's family, so we can't do this. But, like, at the beginning, Jason's dad shows me, like, I just can't believe you threw away your whole life. I was trying to get scouts for you, and I can't believe you'd ruin your life. I was doing everything for you, and you ruined it. And it's like, oh, they're building up, like, a, you know, like, his dad was putting a lot of pressure on him, and, like, clearly his dad has some, like, pent up issues about not being like a super sports guy. He's like a fisher dude, so his son's going to be a cool sports guy, but now he threw it all away. Oh, how dare you? And then like there's a sequence with like Jason's dad in the background yelling at the totally unseen mom for the entire movie. Like, oh, he's so stupid. He fucking ruined his life. I hate him. You know, all this stuff.
He jacked off a cow, and the mom's like, that was his friend,
well, he didn't.
not him.
But since he lied and covered for, he's like, and yeah, I jacked off the cow.
Yeah.
It felt good too.
That seed was spilled. That was me.
I did that.
I didn't have a sock to put it in, Dad.
That's blasphemy.
You're a sinner, son. You should have procreated with that cow, damn it. This is a pro-life family.
You need to milk it and put it in another cow, okay?
I feel like I'm going to hell.
No.
I don't know. Very specifically, I feel like something fundamental just broke in me. I don't know what it was, but I felt a twanging sensation in my soul.
Yeah, a lot of people who spend extended periods of time with us experience that feeling.
Because we're anti-fundamental, baby.
I love it. So then his dad, moments after he comes back from being like doing his Power Ranger training, is like, anyway, I brought back the car and, if you want to fix it or something, whatever, I love you, son. And I'm over my problems and I'm actually a good dad now. Anyway, I got to go deal with this Rita Repulsa in my boat. I got to go, son. And then Rita Repulsa's ripping out teeth. She's like this creepy little goblin. She's
This
like,
little sea hag.
gold.
Yeah.
She's
Which is
gold
good
member.
stuff. She is gold member. It's true.
damn it.
That dad was like, yeah, we all made mistakes, stole a cow, jacked it off, whatever.
Son, I never told you about the cows I jacked off.
But at least I was getting paid for it.
I was getting paid, damn it. Do you know how hard it is to find a cow to jack off? I had a very particular set of skills, and you're wasting them, son.
Uh-huh.
You're wasting.
It's genetic.
You're wasting that forearm.
Oh my God.
Why do you think Why do you think I wanted you to be the quarterback?
the football? It was all to build up the tolerance to be a good jacker.
Jesus. I was going to go the route of like, I don't want you to go down the same road I did. But you guys were like, no, we love it. We want our son to do that.
So, yeah, very different direction there with that joke.
Yeah, why not?
God.
Listen, all right? We respect sex work on this podcast,
Yeah.
all right? So
To cows.
it's to cow, only to cows, But
Technically, that is sexual work when you jack off a cow for insemination.
Yeah.
true. By the way, there's an entire genre of like monster sex books out there. And very recently, because I have a book club called The Worst Book Club, and my friend keeps wanting us to read one of those. And so far, they've been soundly rejected, but we're running out of like normal bad books. So very recently, she sent in one that was a millennial that goes to a Mintar jack-off farm.
Oh my God.
She's like, I'm a struggling millennial. I can't buy a house. I can't start a family. I can't live my life. But there's this place with great benefits as long as I jerk off a Minotaur. And so she's like, I'm going to turn my life around. But oh no, she starts to catch feelings as much as she's catching semen.
Yeah,
So speaking of semen.
Yes.
Rita immediately kills the cop that's going to go check in on her as a corpse. And let me just say, this is one of the true ACAB movies I've ever watched in the superhero genre. Because a cop shows up when Rita Repulsa's stealing stuff and is like, listen, you need to put down your weapon. And she turns around and looks at him and he shoots and then immediately calls in and says, shots fired.
Yeah.
And that's a true representation of a cop if I ever did see. Well, let me tell you.
I said the same thing. I was like, you shouldn't have just open fired. She just took one step towards you. Now, when, if a golem rose up out of the ground and all of a sudden gold's turning into darts at you, then you can, that is danger being thwarted at you, thrown at you. But not just a woman stepping towards you.
It's a true representation of American cops. So,
Yeah.
you got to give them credit where credit's due.
Yeah, yeah.
I got some notes, but to get through real quick. I loved when they go down into the water and then it becomes a water wall. Like that ruled. Real cool effect there, even though obviously it was like a real easy one to do. But
it's fun.
When they leave, like they're in that cave and they're like, the walls are shaking. They're afraid. They're afraid. And then it becomes Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
I really liked how Alpha goes, the coins, different colors, different kids, different colored kids.
Yeah.
He's inclusive.
I guess he's excited about it, but it feels like excited about it in that like very like neolib kind of way. Like, you know, where it's like a company that's like, listen, we love the black people, okay? We have 3 of them in our office.
Yeah.
Would you be okay if your best bud locked your consciousness into a ship?
No.
Yeah, Zordon immediately is like, that's fine. I'm okay with this. I feel like if I just woke up and I was just a head, and by the way, he says I can't see at first. Clearly, like, sight starts to develop at some point, but imagine just waking up being just a face, and you can't feel your arms or your legs or anything, and you're like, old friend, what's happening? You know, like one of your longest, oldest friends is like, oh, yeah, hey, man, I had to cut off your entire body. You're just a head in a jar now. Your sight will come back in a bit.
It would have been funny if Alpha was like, oh, wait, hold on. It's been a long time. The lens caps on all these webcams around the places are dusty.
Then he has to jerk them off to get them to work.
No.
Yeah. You were making the motion, Ari. That's not my fault.
When what's his nuts?
I'm a normal guy.
No, you're not. Speaking of normal guys, when Zordon says her name is Rita Repulsa, she will create Goldar. You can't make this serious, guys. These names are too campy to be like, we are going to make a Sin City level, a just really grounded, I guess Sin City's not grounded, just a dirty, gritty reboot. This is Christopher Nolan's Batman to our Power Rangers.
Yeah. Yeah, they're trying to hit a fine line, and they do kind of miss. I think it doesn't know what kind of camp it wants to be, because, like, it has the Marvel banter, which I consider camp, you know, especially with Billy's character. But, you know, like, there's still, like, a campiness, and especially with Alpha, where it's like, whoa, hey, you gotta... But, like... Zordon, unfortunately, Bryan Cranston, whomst used to be a voice actor for the monsters in the original Power Ranger show, so fun connection there, is like trying to be a serious, dour leader who's here to... Whereas, like, I do, like, Bryan Cranston can have fun, you know?
Yeah.
He said, just like make him a smidge more Malcolm in the Middle. Not quite, you know, like a know-it-all, but a little bit like just like defeated by Rita Repulsa would be good.
Yeah.
You know?
Or even just like a little annoyed by Alpha.
Yes. Oh, great. You put me in a wall. Thank you.
Yeah.
I love this. No, I love being alive. So you just left me asleep for a million billion years. That's cool. That's great. Did you try looking for other people this whole time, or was it okay, fine?
Oh, yes. Did you, you found children that will immediately bring about the morphin grid so I can walk through and be fine. Oh, you didn't. We just found shitheads. Okay. They met in Saturday school detention. I now know what that is, and I now know shouldn't be trusting those children.
Wow, you really messed this one out, Alpha. You suck.
You really shit the bed.
Wow, if I could brandish a gun, I would direct it towards you, Alpha.
He just forms makes a little gun hand on the wall. I wish I could do this to you. Bang, bang, bang. That's what I would do to your stupid little head.
Yeah, see this? This is you.
This is you. This is me shooting you in the head. I hate you. I've gotten full control over the wall now.
Alpha, come closer. Maybe these little pillars can just jab you real quick.
If I can just get one right through your head.
I don't know if my tongue senses can sense the feel of you, but we'll try right now.
Let me bite you. Come here. Let me bite you. Get in my open mouth.
There's a scene where
You have a biteable butt.
Nicole, this isn't MILF Manor 2 talk.
What?
You got to watch MILF Manor 2, but we don't have time. Rob, we do not have time. After they get their powers and we see Trini at her home, her mom's a fucking bitch.
Super freak.
Yeah, super freak.
And that's where I'm like, oh, they were trying to just do Jason's storyline again, and that's why they dropped Jason's storyline, because they're like, no, let's make her mom insane.
And the dad's so calm and is like, okay, the reason why she doesn't talk is you ask her 4 questions before she can even answer the first one. And he says, so let me ask you, what did you do last night? What do you have to, like, what are you up to? And she goes, oh yeah, like a bunch of my friends, like, found this alien thing and now we're superheroes and we have superpowers. And this I can relate to so much, which is, oh no, Rob's headphones are off. He's got to hear, the dog's going crazy right now.
Crunchwrap Supreme.
I don't know if that's Crunchwrap. He says, get it, Crunchwrap,
the
get it, Crunchwrap.
audacity of that dog.
Oh no, he's DDTing that dog and suplexing him. A suplex DDT. He did it.
Arf.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, the boys are yelling. Sorry about that.
The most I can relate to this movie is when Trini's mom slams down a cup that's clearly for drug testing and says, pee in that cup, because boy, oh boy, did my siblings get that talk so much with a cup to have to piss in.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And my mom used to always, like going through old photos from high school, would be like, were they high in that picture? And it's like, why do you care, Mom? She's calmed down recently.
Okay, well, that's good. I didn't have to deal with that. But then again, I was just a good boy. I just had bad grades in like junior year because I was just an absolute defeatist.
Mm-hmm. So, guys, we have 5 minutes to wrap this movie up. So let me just go through. Rita is very Evil Dead-esque in the beginning, which I loved.
Yes. Awesome.
I put down more like yuckies. Maybe someone's, she said yummy, that gold, and starts eating the gold. Loved that.
Yeah.
And it's wild. Like, speaking of like campy stuff, the campiness is, where is the crystals, the Zeo crystal that holds the life? It's below the Krispy Kreme. That is the campiest thing, because they could have done the juice bar. The juice bar is, I guess, Krispy Kreme here.
They needed that money. Listen, there was no way they were going to fund this movie without like outside influence. To the point where the last third of the movie, every character says Krispy Kreme 3 times in rapid succession. They're in their Zords flying around. Oh, we're almost at the Krispy Kreme. Are they Krispy Kreme? They're the Krispy Kreme. Look, it's the Krispy Kreme. And then she's like, the Krispy Kreme. Go ahead and dig it up, Goldar. Krispy Kreme.
And there is a straight up commercial during this.
Yes.
Because it's them at a Krispy Kreme, like fighting over the last piece of a donut. And they're like, don't lay a hand on my Krispy Kreme. Wowzers, that's wild.
Yeah.
Zordon literally says, there must be some way to free me from this wall.
Yeah. Which is, you idiot kids gotta like be cool enough, and then like I'll be able to grow my body back. But then he sacrifices it to save Billy, who drowns unceremoniously, and then none of the teenagers have ever done any CPR classes, so they have no idea what to do.
Well, that's because unlike Madam Web, they didn't establish any of them are very good at CPR.
Very true.
Which also happens in the movie we're talking about after this in Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent.
I forgot what I was going to say. Rita meets is Gold member. I already said that.
Still not funny.
She goes and like when she's at that jewelry store and says, give me the gold.
Yeah.
She's looking for gold in people's mouths, assuming, I guess, like, that's where people have them I guess.
Yeah.
She has a lot of golden teeth on her little bludgeoning device. So.
And she just like to this jeweler's mouth, just like puts her dirty stranger hands in there and just like feels around for gold. Ugh.
And the gal's like not repulsed hilariously.
Yeah. She's fine. She's, I think, okay
So
with it. She does do like,
okay.
hey, I gotta hit this buzzer
Listen,
to
man.
give us the alarm.
Customer service jobs, they break you emotionally.
Yeah.
Oh, also, the giant mine outside of town that they established is a gold mine, which I did not know.
Oh.
And that makes no sense because they're mining gold in America, which is like, that's long done at this point. But she finds enough to summon Goldar, and just like she makes her putties out of bits of rock, she makes Goldar, her old friend. It's just a giant dude made of gold with like floaty wing. It's awful.
It's bad.
It's so terrible. They
He
don't
can't
even make him
talk.
like big buff, like, you know, look like Goldar at least. Huge swing and a miss. And then there's just molten gold falling on the town, which almost kills Jason's dad. And then Jason's like, take my hand, Dad, and saves his dad.
His dad is so afraid of his son that he's willing to fist fight a car window to get away from him.
I'd rather die in this burning car than be saved by a weird robot man. That's how horrifying these suits look, is a man would rather die in a burning car than be saved by one.
Yeah. Also, if Rita was came into Diablo 2, everyone would hate her on the server because she has too many summons.
That's good. I've been replaying that recently. It's a lot of fun.
We don't have time for me to ask. Does it still lag when people summon too many skeletons?
No. With the re-release, it doesn't. Anyway, keep going.
I wrote when Billy dies, I said this same impact could have happened them trying to resuscitate him, and it does. But then we see like Zordon sacrifice himself. I was like, actually, no, never mind. It doesn't.
Yeah, well, because you need Zordon to sacrifice his ability to come back to life, which they could have just never established that was an option.
Yeah.
Because that's dumb.
Yeah, you don't need it. Also, during that jewelry scene when the cop fires on her, after she summons a putty, she says, "Did you miss me?" And it's like, bitch, we didn't even know you existed.
Well, I think she might have been talking to the putty.
Oh.
I'm not sure.
Then she should have looked at the putty.
She should have. She's looking at the cop, which confuses me a little bit. But I thought she was talking to the putty. She wasn't told where the putty was. And so,
bringing up this, they're in their Zords fighting, and this is a prime example of, we're just shooting on a green screen and I have no idea what's actually going on. And Naomi Scott, fantastic actress. I think she is on the level of Sarah Michelle Gellar. She's fantastic. But she goes, I'm burning. He's crushing me. And it's just like, she doesn't understand what's going on. No one was like, this is what's going on.
oh, I'm burning. He's crushing me. Like it's so low energy as like, and then hilariously, all the robots get pushed together because you know what they're trying to do? They're trying to do Toy Story 3, but poorly.
Yeah.
So it's like we're all going to get incinerated. Everyone hold hands. At least we die together.
And they're all screaming as they're morphing together. So it sounds like there's, I think Lowbrow Studios did it when a Transformer transforms with someone inside. It's just a mangled mess of blood and flesh inside.
I mean, Robot Chicken did that too.
That might be what I'm thinking of.
And then he stands up and blood starts leaking out of him. He's like,
And
so
and then she gets smacked up into the stratosphere and the day
the
saved.
Megazord looks terrible. And then, the big final fight, they suplex Goldar. She jumps up and is like, I'm going to do one big punch because I'm Rita. And she just gets slapped into outer space and she freezes next to Zod in his little prison door. And so that's the end. That's it. Oh, and then Tommy shows up and they're all in the class together. They're like, we're good friends now. We're throwing our little shuriken of paper around because we're such good friends. Mm-hmm. And then at the very, very end, the guy's like, oh, we've got a new student. His name's Tommy Bueller. And then we see a green explosion from the bathroom. And the original Kimberly and Jason show up for 2 seconds. And Tommy show up for 2 seconds at the very, very end.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
And that's the movie, guys.
Yeah, it either needed to be less campy or more campy.
Oh, yeah.
It's so in the middle that it's just it's fine.
I feel like the actual writers were like, hey, we got to be serious. But then Saban's like, no, it needs to be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think that a more camp version of this movie
would have at least been a cult classic. I don't know that it ever would have been like, whoa. But as it stands, the kind of like it because it wasn't visually fun to look at, you couldn't get a bunch of kids to go watch the movie. And because it wasn't like an edgy reboot, you didn't get a bunch of like old, like, you know, DC adults showing up, you know? So instead you got that middle ground where you're trying to do both. And so like it just didn't have the audience power that like GXK had, where like 2 million children across America were like, take me, mom and dad, and all my brothers and sisters and grandpa to the movie theater, please. And then you get a banger film, which like makes the most money of the year. Because the only way to get people into theaters anymore is to have like a child demand that you go to the theater.
Yeah, but then the grandpa's like, let's just send him to private school, and then you're gut punching him.
Well, so Rob brought up like that this was like they were trying to do like Twilight-esque, and I'm like, yes, that's what this needed to be, was like Twilight level campy, like terrible.
Oh God, that would have been so good if they went full Twilight goth with it, like a very like everyone's like super teen moody. Oh, Jason, I don't know if I can trust you after you watched me naked dive into the water backwards as a terrible CGI puppet. Just don't know if I can trust you, even though you punched a car off of me that one time. Oh, I guess I like you. And then she's dreaming about him.
And he goes, babe, you totally weren't a terrible looking CGI puppet. You were like a pretty rad looking CGI puppet.
And then the dad just tells really bad, awkward dad jokes that you're like, I think I'm supposed to laugh at that.
And then like Jason and Kimberly have a kid, and then like Zach imprints on the kid.
Back breaks because it's a Zordon baby.
Oh, damn. Immaculate conception. Even though that's the virgin birth, guys. I know the Immaculate Conception would technically be Kimberly being born pure, free of sin.
And pure. James, let's wrap this up.
Yeah, Rob, thank you so much this is your third time in a row you've been on every single KaiJULY Con discussing Power Rangers. Do you have anything to plug?
Not at the moment. I mean, check out Tokyo Lives. It's going to be going on even without me. I'll still do some goofball like cameo stuff and guest appearances on there. If you're in Austin and you want to do a queer-friendly tabletop adventure, soon I'll be running a campaign called South by South Wizard at Once Over, which is a cool little coffee shop. Check it out. But that's in Austin. I don't know if there's anyone here in the chat that is Austin-based. It seems, Chicago-y.
My collaborator, Howard Kramer, used to live there and made an MTV show about Austin.
Hey, okay.
Called Austin Stories. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. Back when it was cool and weird.
But I don't really have anything particularly in the moment coming out. But hey, man, the next time I do, I'll swing by and we'll do another. Maybe we'll do a 12-hour live stream, and I'll just help you record a year's worth of episodes.
Hell yeah!
Oh yeah.
I'll just then I can tune a pitch in every single one.
You want to know what? This would be fun because, like for Citizens of Townsville Z, I do one a month usually. I could record in one day every single episode for the year. Oh, wow. It would be wild. And then, like, Nicole has to come on as the last one because it's during December.
So if you're trying to do, like, an hour-long episode every, month, so you're at least doing, 15 hours of recording at least, if it's anything like a Tokyo Lives episode.
Oh, no, not me. No. Not for Citizens of Townsville Z. At the most, they're, like, an hour and 10 minutes.
Oh, fair.
But, Nicole, you got anything to plug?
Go visit darlinghomebody.com for all the cool, cute stuff that I make. And
it's so cute.
Follow me on social medias at Darling Homebody.
And come see us at Fan Expo Chicago. We'll be tabling there. Mm-hmm. And hit up Chicago Comics if you're ever in Chicago. Buy some comics there. Tell them Mostly Speakin Sentai sent you. Maybe they'll, I don't know, give me some store credit for that. But hey guys, head over to patreon.com/MLM pod, where for $5 a month you get exclusive content every single Friday. This month is not KaiJULY, it's Pride in July, where I'm getting all my queer friends over and we're discussing Powerpuff Girls Z every single Friday. It's been a great time. All the episodes besides one are already recorded, so technically we did Pride in June, but we're extending it into another month, baby. And if you're a $10 patron, you get monthly bonus exclusive content like straight to Patreon. Just did one episode. We're doing summer mockbusters where we're doing mockbusters mainly by the asylum. It's very fun. Steve Barnes came over from Virginia and he was on an episode. It was great. And you get shout outs on every single free feed podcast. So let's begin with those $10 patrons, starting with Steve F., Eric Berry of Ranger Command Power Hour, Alex Z, The Waz, Orion, Joshua Jacobs, my Bickle brother in common law, Joshua Jacobs, Steve Barnes, a sweet child of time, my brother, my mother is what I meant to say, Lil Corey's BFF and now former roommate Shane, that fed, twitch.tv/CoreWinning, it's Corwin, R2 Shelby 2 from the Rom Complex, or I guess I should say Rom Complex, Formulaic, a podcast and script writing, it's twitch.tv/R2 Shelby 2. I'm a little flustered because we got a new one, baby. It's Zinny D from the Speed Podcast, a podcast all about Sonic, baby. He's got to go fast. And I've been James.
I'm Nicole.
And I'm Rob.
And we've been mostly speaking Sentai. Bye-bye.
Woo! Bye, everyone.
This has been a Marshland Media production, produced by James McCollum. For more content, please visit MLMpod.com. To support our network and have access to exclusive podcasts, head over to patreon.com/MLMpod and sign up today. Oh, yeah.